Yo, welcome back to Pokemon Colosseum with Justin and Ulam. We are back here in Dual Square, as I finally went ahead and did some research on Hyper Mode, Shadow Pokemon, and the mechanics surrounding those. So, some of my findings are what has led us here. Now, I do want to check what the level is of these enemies. I came back here explicitly because I believe they should be sufficiently low. Okay, well, 36 and 37, so they have been leveling up with us, it would seem. So that's a little bit less than stellar, but we'll make it work. So, long story short, apparently, Hyper Mode only has a chance of activating at all when you use Shadow Rush. So, that's one pretty big important factor in the first place. And in the second place, the three, methods of reducing their shadow bar that are the greatest are calling them out of Hyper Mode, walking while they're in the Pokemon daycare, and then feeding them those, or I don't know if it's feeding them, but giving them those scent things that are supposed to increase or reduce their shadow. So, based on that, the plan here is, again, I was really hoping these guys would still be closer to like level 30, which would make this just an absolute cheese fight, because the idea is going to be, regardless of actually beating them, I'm just going to be trying to proc Hyper Mode as much as I can in a fight that I'm not going to go crazy about having to constantly be in and out of Hyper Mode for. And with these guys still being between 3 and 4 levels. Okay, well, he's only 2 levels lower than, well, on the same level as Hitmontop. So this isn't going to be the most, this is probably the most efficient way that I can think of right now to get the Shadow Pokemon purified, but it's still not going to be just, super stellar. Especially with Entei just straight up knocking things out with his Hyper Mode. Alright, so now Hitmontop should have gained another move. Entei has still yet to go into Hyper Mode, so it is only on a relatively small chance. And the other reason that we specifically picked this trainer out of all the ones in Dual Square is because I had it on somewhat good authority that our best source of EXP outside of just, generic, from a single trainer, this early in the game anyway, is that Dustox. So I earned triple here. Interesting. But, for the sake of Shadow Purification, we still need to be using Shadow Rush, because you cannot enter Shadow Mode without it. Alright, well, good job there, Hitmontop, you knocked yourself out. Well, now Sonority gets to come in and try some. So my plan here is to show you this here, and then later you'll just assume anytime I catch a Shadow Pokemon, then later it shows up purified. This is what I was doing in between. But seeing as how this is my first time doing it, we're going to be going ahead and using this as some episode fodder. I am of the understanding that they change how those mechanics work sufficiently in XD, such that Hyper Mode just doesn't work quite the same in that game, but also Purification doesn't work the same, and in both cases, it's, from what I researched, and not having played that game yet, it does seem like it's easier to deal with. So we should have even less issue with Shadow Purification in XD, but for now, this is just the method we're going to have to deal with. Well, Sudowoodo did not really get a whole bunch of effort done. So yeah, these two have turned out to, these 3 Pokemon of this enemy have not at all been pushovers, unfortunately. Shock. Well, no, we might as well end this fight as quickly as we can, because the other 2 being down means that they can't possibly get any more Shadow Purification, and Entei's just going to be a pain in the butt to purify no matter what, I imagine. Because one thing it did mention regarding the purification via this call while in hyper mode method is that how much goes away varies based on the Pokemon's nature. So the fact that on several of these it seems to not do very much just means, and yet despite that, it's still one of, if not the best method. Considering, you know, buying those scents would be kind of expensive. Although I guess we did get quite a bit of cash from doing the Colosseum, so, it could go either way. And certainly on Entei, who seems to be just being very slow about getting this reduction, I may end up going ahead and doing some of that too. Alright, no, rush, go ahead and call, Thundershock. Yeah, because Entei is getting absolutely bubkus from that. Alright, and it's probably... Nope! Entei gets one more turn of call, which still probably will not unlock its first move because he is just really being resistant to this method. Wow, we got 2 turns of paralysis on that. Not terrible. Alright, let's just go ahead and end it here. Because... Yep, for crying out loud. 3 calls and Entei hasn't gotten its first 5th gone yet. Which they also mentioned, even though those are split into percentages like that, just like health, that's not necessarily representative of all of their shadow bars being the same actual amount. So I would imagine legendaries are probably among those who have just a far larger bar to get through in the first place, as a means of making you really work for getting that legendary power. Alright, well, that did not work just marvelously. Unfortunately, wait, no, was that the inn? Yeah, here's the hotel. Because whatever their price was, I'm sure, whoops. So he's going to charge... Yeah, 108, alright, so yeah. Now, compared to the amount of cash we have, that's insignificant enough that that's pretty worth it. Alright, so considering Entei is probably just going to be a butt, let's move him to the back. Because you two are a lot closer and seem to be getting a little bit faster through that. Having both focus, energy, and triple kicks. Pretty dope on the Hitmontop. What nature do you get? Timid. Well, that's less than stellar. Timid reduces attack in exchange for speed, and while the speed is nice, it clearly would have been better if it had been reducing its special attack for speed, which would have been jolly. But it's still not bad. And you're Lax. I don't remember what Lax does. Let's see, and Sudowoodo does have the EXP share, but let's go ahead and deposit that and put that on Entei. Which, now that I think about it, they didn't actually say online that the EXP share transferred it, but I feel like it should, if for no other reason than because the daycare is able to do it. So if the daycare is able to lower it, I would imagine that the EXP share is supposed to help. Alright, so it looks like Sudowoodo's at about half, and Hitmontop is actually getting pretty close to being done. Oh! I also looked up what the deal is with the, flute. I couldn't find out why it didn't work for us. Oh, wait, no. Although now, in retrospect, I think I do know. Well, no, we would have had those shadows. Maybe we didn't have the shadows in our party at the time, because there are 3 instances through the game, with the 3rd one being, like, really, you have to work for, where you're able to obtain, flutes, And when you use those at the shrine, Celebi appears and gives you a full purification to one of your Pokemon, regardless of how much bar they still had, which seems to be primarily meant to help you with like these legendaries. But considering those are a limited resource, I'm kind of more than willing to just go ahead and go with a renewable resource like Pokemon battles. Although, Razor Leafs coming out of both of these two is really causing me some issues for Sudowoodo trying to get this. No, I better have them both target, because the whole point of this is that either of them could go into hyper mode at any time. I need that Sunflora now. Okay, but that looks like the Oddish still probably KOs. Well, that's annoying. So, this is just not working out super great. Because I did not realize that these guys would level with us. I had thought that they would remain at their previous level, so at least Entei might, with this call, be able to get out of his first 5th. Which should give him one alternate move, which ironically, for the purposes of this training, I will absolutely not want him to use. Please don't tell me that this knocks out. It wasn't really on you. What does it do to hit on top? Okay, good. Well, nuts. Don't know that Entei needs to be called, and I don't know that Shadow Rush will KO from that range. But it is still pretty worth it to go ahead and not switch out, because given the kind of training that I'm doing here, now, if I do have him go in, alright, and he didn't go into hyper mode, but if he had gone into hyper mode and then fainted, that still works for me, because all I'm really trying to do here is get them to go into hyper mode so I can call them as often as I can, which, well, I mean, as we've been seeing, again, not really working out so great. So, we may go ahead and try out some of the other trainers here in the Duel Square to see if maybe just one of the others will be a better matchup. Alright, so go ahead and double target the Dustox to guarantee a knockout. Alright, so he's gone and out of here. Now we just need Entei to... Alright, so he did go into hyper mode, excellent. So at least Entei seems to be plenty down with going into hyper mode. Even if the other two didn't go into it once this entire time. Alright, so, whoop, nope, call. And then we'll go ahead and Thunderbolt, because, again, with only one of them out getting this training, there's no real... Oh, come on, Entei! Man, he's being slow about this! I guess I lied. Hyper mode does still continue to frustrate me and annoy me. Just the other way, though. Alright, well, maybe we'll get lucky and we'll get one more. Yep, alright, so this surely will give us that first 5th. And that took out half of Oddish, so this next turn, Oddish should fall. Unless, of course, Ampharos ends up getting to hit itself in its confusion. And, well, I mean, that ought to be that first 5th. They're making me fight for every inch. Oh, come on, Ampharos. Really? Razor Leaf probably knocks out, even without a crit now. Which, I mean, I wasn't really doing this for the XP for Ampharos, so... Oh, no! Good job! No crit, so Ampharos totally survives. Alright, so... And no, we actually clearly are not at that point yet, because we don't have a single other move. I shouldn't have gone for Thundershock. Why did I do that? Alright, well, now we really still need Entei not to go into hyper mode this turn. Okay, good, he did. Follow through with the Shadow Rush. Boom! Alright, well. Considering all three of the Shadow Pokemon I have currently are all still significantly higher leveled than any of the rest of my Pokemon. Oh, do I not have any of those? I guess I don't. Curious. Alright, well, let's go ahead and... Well, we'll check the Pokemon... Or not Pokemon, sorry, the shop here. Pokemart was the word I was looking for. I don't know if they sell them at all locations or only the one back in... Yeah, no, they only sell them at the one in Agate Village. Alright, so we'll head over to Agate Village right quick and check the price, because... I mean, especially for Entei, but honestly even for the other two, this method is just proving sufficiently more frustrating than I was really feeling I was signing up for. So, let's check out what their price is, and if it's reasonable, then I'll just go ahead and do a whole bunch of Colosseum training on the other already purified Pokemon off-screen, and then use some of the funds to purchase these. So what kind of price are we looking at? Okay. I mean, yeah, those are absolutely ridiculously priced, but actually the scents are not that badly priced. Yeah, this is definitely what we're going to do then. Alright, well... Oh! Fun and fantastic! Something I didn't look up! Alright, well, I guess that explains, yeah, why. Alright, well, in that case, there's a other simple alternative. Which is to, yeah, go ahead and keep them in front, proceed the story until I presumably get said cologne case. Which, I mean, at least in, well, yeah, I mean, and Hyper Mode will be annoying because of that, but as long as we're not continuing to go up against elements that are strong against Sudowoodo especially, because he still doesn't have a single move that's not Shadow Rush. And plus, the whole point of this would be doing other moves gives me no chance at getting reduction, so yeah, for all intents and purposes, I do still want to have both of these guys still primarily focusing on using Shadow Rush. So, I guess we'll go ahead and, oh, and actually, the Sudowoodo is only 35. So, no, that one's actually right at the level where I got everyone else to. So, well, actually, looking at the time, I think this is probably where we're going to go ahead and call it. So, my plan is to, in the next episode, go ahead and just head off to that laboratory. I will, in between, look up where this cologne case comes from. I'm assuming it's going to be story-given, and that I just haven't gotten far enough for them to hand it to me yet. If it is something that I can unlock, I'll go ahead and take care of that all off-screen, and we will actually be starting this next part still with the lab, but with everyone already purified off-screen. So, one way or the other, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Yo! Thanks for watching. If If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button and leave a comment so I know you want more videos like this. If you want to know when new uploads arrive, subscribe and hit the bell icon to have YouTube send you a notification. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.